find a point C satisfying the conclusion of the mean value theorem for the function f of x equal x raised to -7 on the interval 1, 2. Solution. We know that the conclusion of the mean value theorem is f prime of c equal f of b minus f of a over b minus a, right? At some point, the derivative should be equal to the average value of the function. This is going to be our a, this is going to be our b. So somehow we have to find a c between 1 and 2, satisfying this condition, right? Let's start with the derivative. The derivative of this function should be -7 coming down, x raised to -7 minus 1. Derivative will be -7 times x raised to -8, right? And if I simplify my derivative, I should get -7 over, bring this down, x to the 8. Now I'm gonna need this derivative evaluated at c. So let's just evaluate the derivative at c. And this should be 7 over c raised to 8, right? I'm done with this part. Now let's work out this part. This should be f evaluated at b, but b is just 2, minus f evaluated at a is just 1, over 2 minus 1. F evaluated at 2, substituting f for 2 is 2 raised to -7, right? Minus 1 raised to -7, similarly, right? And 2 minus 1 is just 1. 2 raised to -7 is 1 over 2 to the 7. 1 raised to any exponent is just 1. 1 into this quantity is just the same quantity. 2 to the 7, what is that? 2 to the 7 is just equal to, using our calculator, 128. So we have 1 over 128 minus 1. But remember, 1 is just 1 over 1. And if you multiply numerator and denominator by LCD 128, you're going to get the following. You're going to get that this guy is just 1 minus 128, which is minus 127, right? Over common denominator LCD 128. So this is this guy, right? Now this guy has to be equal to this guy, right? Derivative equal to the average value of the function. Let's just put them equal. Now the negative sign will cancel, right? Let's cross multiply to quickly solve this. 127 multiplied by c raised to the 8th power should be equal to 128 times 7. But what is that? 128 times 7. 896, right? 896. Now dividing both sides of this equation by 127, you're going to get the following: c raised to the 8th power equal to 896 over 127. Taking 8 roots in both sides of the equation to eliminate this exponent 8, we finally get c isolated, right? But don't forget, since this guy is even, we're supposed to right here plus minus, right? Plus minus. So we're going to get is plus minus this quantity 8 root of 896 over 127 exact form, right? So I'm going to calculate it now and approximate it to 3 decimal places for accuracy, right? So a root of a fraction, so it's just fraction here, a root of a fraction. And on the numerator, 896. On the denominator, 127. Result 1.276 1.6. If I round it to 3 decimal places, it would be 1.277, right? That should be enough, 1.277. But remember, plus and minus, right? Now, notice, I am looking for a solution within this interval, right? 1, 2, within this closed interval. The negative solution is not going to be there, right? So you ignore the negative solution and you keep the positive one because this guy is inside here, right? Inside here. So this should be our answer. Follow? Great.